Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we're showing off the tier 8 Shokaku. I'm still learning. There is still a lot to learn, and there's going to be changes coming up for CVs and AA. I'm actually going to be talking a majority about that a little bit later, kind of near the end of the video. But I will point out a few things every now and then if it's relevant to kind of what's currently happening. So I am in the tier 8 Shokaku. We are in a tier 10 battle, which kind of sucks. I will have to say it's quite noticeable for tier 8 planes to deal with tier 10 ships. So starting off, I took out the HE rockets because generally you want to try to focus down the DDs, and unfortunately there's actually just one DD. So I am taking my time, and as you can see, there is in fact a Salem, a Montana FTG, and a Rune. And at the moment, we're not really having the best of luck. Now, detect on planes work very similar to how normal detects work. If you're behind an island, you're no longer going to be detected. So you can use this to your advantage, and you will actually be seeing me doing this every now and then. Now, I will straight up say this now. I'm not the most amazing CV player. I think this is I've probably had less than 10 battles overall. But I will have to give props to Darth Blackcat, who's actually one of my clanmates. He's actually a resident CV player who did a lot of testing with the CVs. And he helped me out, took us, I think, in practice battle and kind of worked with us on CVs. So I got a little bit better understanding on how to play CVs. So starting off, as you can see, there's currently no signs of the DD, so I'm actually going to see if I can do something. Now, I did make a mistake in the previous video. Hopefully you guys did see my comment. You can actually control your ship. You press M for the map control, and you can direct your CV where to go. You can put the waypoints down. The only downside is you can't actually use the minimap. I mean, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so Rune is actually off by himself. One tactic whenever dealing with flak burst is maneuver as much as you can and slow down your ship. So you can do that quite a bit. I've actually had better luck dealing damage against ships when coming in at a perpendicular angle, such as I was against the Rune. Did get a decent amount of damage. HE rockets may not be the most amazing, but they can hit decently hard, especially if you get a decent amount of rocket hits. Now, as you see there, or saw there, I did press the F key. That actually returns your plane, sends them high above all the AA, and gets them back to your ship. Now, that's actually a current meta, and that's going to be going away, is essentially going for an attack run, doing one attack, and then bringing your planes back instantly. How this benefits the CV is you're able to have more ships at a readily available time than you otherwise would. So you can use that to your advantage, but they are going to change that. They are changing it. Let's see if I can actually find it. Resolve the F-spam issue, increasing the vulnerability time for squadrons and after recall so that players can shoot down some planes before it completely disengages. So there is going to be a slight penalty to that, and that is extremely beneficial. Now, I did lay down my fighter plane. That is up for another 60 seconds. And Salem is currently holed up behind that island, which can make him a very nice target. And here's another little thing about IGN torp planes, is the fact that you can actually initialize an attack run and you can maneuver, and this actually doesn't cause any penalties with your dispersion. So you'll actually see me doing this multiple times, where I'll essentially come in and do an attack run, but then still have a decent spread of my torpedoes. We actually get a hit on the Salem. That's one thing I need to work on, is it's on leading the target. It's actually, I don't want to say it's quite difficult, but it can be deceiving on how much lead you need to provide your planes to actually get your torp hits to land. Salem is going to go down, and right now this is normally what you want to do. Right now with the IGN, you can do this with relative ease. As you can see, I'm actually getting away with it. Flak Burst isn't doing that much damage. Able to get in there, drop our torpedoes, and that's a slight downside with your planes is they actually kind of follow you in, so they can actually take hits when incoming. And unfortunately, I'm going to lose this last torp plane. Yep, there it goes. Now, there's another thing that is currently going to be changing is the overall flak burst and DPM or DPS that you normally see with your AA guns. They're gonna kind of average it more out to where your normal DPM, and this can be seen whenever flying or whenever playing a ship. You can see the numbers start counting off against the planes, and that's what's happening. You're doing damage over time versus what the flak burst is, where it just causes a very large amount of damage at one time. So a good CV player can generally avoid those with little issue. Now I did switch over to the dive bombers, I believe. Currently the UI is a little bit buggy, so that's kind of unfortunate. I am going after the Montana because we do know he at least took a torpedo and did flood, so he does have damage control. Granted, these are these are my HE rockets, so I do have fires. I'm gonna try to get a fire, try to get him burning, and get it taken care of as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, we don't get a fire. The fire chance on the Shokaku without any flags is 8%. And yeah, you can see this flak burst just does fairly significant amount of damage when trying to get away. Yeah, look at that. I lost nearly half my squadron right there just because of that flak burst. So it can be quite damning if you are playing in a ship such as a Montana and your planes just get melted. I don't even think I'm going to get through this attack squadron. Nope. All my planes are gone due to the flak burst. Didn't even get the chance to get any fires on him. Now, one thing to keep in mind whenever you're playing your CV, look how long it's taking me. And this is the same occurrence as previously. It just takes forever for your planes to get out. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start moving a little bit closer to the action so I can get my planes out there at a much faster rate. Because currently the concern is being spotted a little bit too early. But honestly, you don't want to be that far back. So I'm actually going to start moving a lot closer. We currently control the eastern side. We currently actually have a Grozavoy, and there's actually just one DD here at the moment. So the gearing's on the west side, so not a very big concern at the moment. And here's a good tactic that I did mention is you can actually use the cover of the island. As you can see, we're currently in the AA range of this FTG, but only now his AA guns are actually shooting because we weren't detected. Now these are the dive bombers, these are AP bombs, and against the FTG, ooh, they can hit pretty hard. Bombs away, double citadel on that FTG. Got a decent amount of damage as well. Gonna try to get swiveled around, see if we can get another drop on him. Turning the circle radius on the planes can be a bit difficult because it is taking a little bit of time, which does mean that you're very vulnerable to the AA of the ships. Unfortunately, we didn't get a citadel though there. But we're going to try it once again. This is my last squadron available. I really should probably lay down a fighter because I hear Kiryu's dropping. Yes, there we go. Do drop down the fighter. Going in for the FTG. Could get a kill. And unfortunately, it doesn't show it, but there is two concentric circles that until they line up is where you want to drop. Finally get our very first kill of the game with the final citadel. Of course, very much unneeded, but hey, we got rid of that FTG that was kind of holding down that position. Now our team does control 2 caps. Actually, I think our team's gonna very stupidly push out of sea without capping. I might be wrong. Missouri is getting kind of focused down. Hopefully he can survive. I don't know if he will. And here is a very, very good idea. I'm actually going to start pushing and helping out the west side because we do see a Moskva that is starting to push around the corner, and our side, that side actually kind of needs some help. Well, because they're kind of dealing with Ismo, Moskva, I think even a few other battleships, and a Gearing as well. So we're going to try to help out as much as possible. Now, Moskva is a very stationary target, so it's actually a very good option to go for. And once again, using the same tactic of initiating the attack run, getting fairly below the AA flak, and we do spot the Gearing, so we do know he's actually around. Torpedoes are inbound. Now, I don't run torpedo acceleration on my torpedo planes. It's an option you can go for, because the normal range for your torpedoes is 5 kilometers. Do pop that heel. Coming back in for that Moskva. The booster on the friendly team, who's actually currently out there, does a really fantastic job in this battle. So high props to him. And once again, I probably should be leading a little bit more, but we do get double torpedo hits, do cause a flooding. That means he is going to flood out and start really taking some damage. So at the current time, our friendly Grozovoy is doing the whole let's go find the CVs. And this has been occurring a lot more recently. And it's, I hate to say it, but it's actually not a bad choice because CVs are very limited on their attack power. Previously, CVs could easily deal with a destroyer that decides to really push up as heavily as this Grozovoy is, and at the moment, not so much. The only thing they really can use is their HE rockets. Their torque planes, yes, is viable too, but still, all the same, very much easier to deal with your HE rockets. So if your first squadron actually goes down, like it did there, and that's actually a bug right there. That ship's actually currently not there. If your first attacks squadron goes down, it means that your backup will actually continue on and attacking. So we do get 2 torpedo hits on that Ismo, and it is flooding him. I do point that out just so the booster can possibly focus him down if at all possible. And once again, look at my positioning compared to the friendly Hakaym. Now, granted, he is probably a little bit closer to the western side than I am. However, I'm a little bit more further north, and we can very much deal with any potential threats. It looks like the friendly CV does take out the enemy Ismo. Unfortunately, don't get the kill on that, which is really unfortunate. I do switch over to my AP bombs. We're going to try our luck against the Rune. Once again, still working on it. Something that we'll be trying to deal with, or better yet, learn whenever possible. So we're gonna try our attack run on this Rune. Generally, you want to be attacking from the rear until you get a better feel for your attack runs. Generally just a little bit better, but I still balls it up. I'm a little bit too far forward, and my AP bombs are just gonna completely miss. So that's unfortunate. And also there was a fighter which kind of dispersed my dispersion a little bit much, and that's a very interesting bug. That Conqueror is still sitting there on top of the ocean. Coming back in for the Rune. Once again, you really gotta take into account of its speed because I'm actually behind the target, and our attack run completely goes to waste, which is unfortunate. So not much we can do there. Now we have actually pushed into C. Enemy team has a Gearing and a Rune, plus obviously the Lexington, our Kiryu. We do have a friendly Iowa and a Wooster and a Hipper, and we're gonna try to assist our Iowa as much as possible. Well, this is a very interesting bug, and I don't even know if there's a way to fix that. Let's see. Nope. Good job. Okay, so the replay is kind of bugging out. Unfortunately, I'm actually in the attack run against the Gearing. There we go. There we go. Finally brought back the camera. That was actually very aggravating. Do get a decent hit on that gearing, but he does go down to the Hipper's torpedoes, and we're going to continue our assault against the Rune. Now we are vulnerable because we have pushed up against the enemy team that the enemy CV might be trying to attack us. I think he actually already did. I think he actually tried to torpedo us, but once again, not really much he could do. Get 5 rocket hits, only do 1,400 points of damage. Don't have a lot of success with the fire chance on these HE rockets. And unfortunately, we're not going to get any more damage against that Rune. All that's left on the enemy team is the 2 CVs. And we're going to try our very best to deal with them. I did launch down my plane. Hopefully, it could possibly harass the enemy Lexington's planes. But yeah, it looks like he's probably bypassing it. So, with our planes ready, we can actually begin assault against CVs. CVs are definitely a lot more difficult. They have more AA, they have a stronger AA bubble, and they also have the use of a plane. Now here's one issue I have currently with the current setup with the planes. So they are obviously designed to be automatically put down. So as soon as you get it within a certain range, the plane will launch and defend it. It does last for actually I think about 6 minutes, which is quite strong. However, my main issue is actually cruiser planes. So the cruiser planes don't last that long. They're only there for a minute, and you only get the normal, I believe, 4 charges depending on what cruiser you're playing. I'm pretty certain that's actually fairly standard. And that's my issue is I really think if they're going to limit you down to a minute per plane, they really should give you more charges. Once again, coming in to help my CV, I'm going to go ahead and drop my fighter. Enemy CV drops their own fighter, but we should be able to kind of deal with that. Iowa definitely has a fairly decent AA, so it shouldn't be that big of a concern for it. It does look like their fighters go down, and our fighter is going to at least assist the Iowa, although it's not doing a particularly great job. Once again, trying to get a little bit more damage on the Hakaym. Hakaym is actually a very fast ship. Very fast ship. You do have to provide actually a decent amount of lead. This is actually probably my error. Got as close as I can. Definitely should have gave it more lead than I did, because unfortunately my torpedoes are going to miss, and I'm actually going to try to get another attack run. This is not actually the very best. This is way too close. That we're actually not going to get any torpedoes on this Hakaym, but the Hakaym is going to go down. But once again, look at my positioning compared to the friendly Hakayms. It's definitely a lot closer. We're able to get our planes out there a lot faster. Granted, Hakaym's planes are, well, for the most part, faster than the Shokaku, but this is actually probably going to be very near to the end of this battle. Lexington's all that's left. He does have, or he just has gone down to the Hakaym, and that is the end of that battle. So we do earn a victory in this battle, and this is actually one of my highest damage games in the Shokaku as far as the release date for the new CVs, so I'm a little bit proud of it. Not particularly amazing by maybe some other people's standards, but I'm still satisfied with it as much as possible. As far as damage, 106,172, 7 torpedo hits, 7 bombs, 1 plane shot down, 1 incapacitation, 1 kill, 4 floodings, 3 citadels, 9 spotting, 25 HE rocket hits, and 3... Actually, currently don't know what that means. I might have to relook at it. Probably someone in the comments will point this out to me. We were 4th on the team score with a base XP of 1,844. Didn't kill that many ships, but we did a decent amount of damage, especially in a tier 10 battle, which is kind of scary for a tier 8 Shokaku, better in a tier 8 CVs, because I have noticed the meta has changed. Previously, it's definitely been a little bit more one for all and all for one. I have noticed teams actually have been sticking closer together dealing with enemy planes. As far as our damage wise, we did 20,281 against the FDG, 29,000 against the Ismo, 25,000 against the Moskva, 17,000 against the Montana, and 5,098 and 5,808 against the Salem and Rune, respectively. As far as our bombs, we did 20,000 with our bombs. Torpedoes did 41,296. Our rockets did a measly 8,000. Yes, they aren't particularly amazing as far as damage. I would like to see the fire chance be a little bit better. I haven't had the best of luck with the fire chance with the HE rockets, but I think that's my only little bit of gripe against them. Our torpedoes did cause flooding, 4 floodings. They did 36,358 points of damage, which isn't too bad. As far as plane shot down, we did manage to take out a HE rocket plane and some torpedo planes, which isn't too bad. Now we're going to go ahead and quickly discuss the current changes to CVs and AA. As I did mention earlier, the F spam issue is going to be changing, where it is going to penalize any players that use it. There's also going to be reduce on the efficiency of IGN Tier 10 Hakaym, which is a little bit vague. Reduce the excessive efficiency of the torpedo planes of IGNs. Reduce the flooding. Introduce a spread debuff when maneuvering. As I did kind of point out, unfortunately the replay doesn't show it, but when maneuvering, your spread doesn't change at all versus what USN currently deals with. Currently, they're going to be balancing the AA, shift a part of damage from flak burst to constant DPS, kind of averaging it out, which I think is kind of beneficial for players. I have noticed I believe I was in a Neptune and didn't really shoot down that many planes, and it was an AA build. It's very sporadic on what ships, and certain ships are very scary. Sims, for example, is a very scary ship. As a destroyer, its AA is phenomenal, especially if fully built. Flak bursts have proved to be an interesting aspect of the AA. However, on one hand, they deal a disproportionate amount of damage. On the other hand, avoiding them often results in completely insufficient damage to the planes. Now, this has actually come from Sub Octavian, so I will go ahead and point this out. Sub Octavian wrote this on Reddit, so I am reading this from that site. The overall attack planes versus destroyer balancing. While this is an important thing to do, we'd like to indicate that most players seem to underestimate the power of manual AA activation. Let's see, a DD spotted at minimum range is a lot harder to hit with the first attack, even with rockets, although the trick does not remove the need for further balancing. They're currently working on the premium CV balancing as well as the UK, which is eventually going to be coming out. And apparently they remove the inconsistency between DM and Salem's close and mid-range AA. They also are currently working on the next update, improve the plane reserves. That's actually something I did not really point out, and it's a little bit difficult to tell, but at the very bottom it actually shows you how many planes are available for your next squadron. It's not very clear. I still get a little bit confused on it, especially when I'm trying to quickly deal with my planes. So they are going to be changing that to make it a little bit more presentable. They are also improving the AA sector UI, which be interesting. Do additional balancing for individual ships, armament, skills, and upgrades. That's the thing. This update with CVs, it's a huge overhaul. It's gonna be annoying at times because everything's not going to be balanced compared to the old system. I mean, Wargame is not particularly perfect. I'm not going to say that they're perfect. I'm not going to defend everything they do. There are some issues I have with Wargame, but overall, I think they're pushing the game towards a particularly better place, and I think it's very much needed. Do additional balancing, clear the minimap for non-CV ships, remove the unnecessary info after returning planes, and finish the development for CV bots in cooperative battles. Yes, CVs aren't currently operating in cooperative battles. So definitely looking forward to these changes and these updates, and hopefully they will improve the game as it goes. But just like anything new they add to the game, there's gonna be current issues and needed buffs and nerfs, so it's to be expected. But anyways, this is going to be it for this battle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching and hearing me ramble on, and hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaichen.